Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to go over what I think the best counter is to Tristana, as well as what I think the best counter is to these late game AD carries that we're seeing a lot of lately. So to start this video off, I do want to say that I've been doing a lot of testing to try and figure out what a good pick is into Tristana since she's played in almost all of my ranked games now. And all of the meta AD carries that we're seeing are all late game champions that do very well and scale very well. So a lot of the bot lane matchups we've been seeing is Janna Tristana or Sona Twitch or something like that, where it's a passive lane and you just farm out the whole time until you get into your team fights. But I wanted to try and find a pick that could bully these late game champions and really dominate that laning phase and push that into other advantages. And I found that Lucian is a really good pick into these late game carries. He's very good into the mid game. He scales okay depending on how you build him, but really that mid game power spike is where you're going to push your lead and try and end that game quickly. In a lot of my games that I've been playing lately, there hasn't been as many tanks as I would think there would be. I know we are in the tank meta right now and a lot of tanks are dominating the game, but I've been seeing a lot of mid game champions play mid, top, and jungle, and usually the game's decided before I even have a chance to scale as Tristana. But by playing Lucian, I've noticed that I'm having a larger impact on these games, and I can push my advantage and really help my team either recover if we're losing or push that lead, take a Baron, take dragons, and take those towers down as fast as possible. Now, the reason that I have found that Lucian works into Tristana in lane is because as Tristana, one, you're not very strong early on. Your auto attack range is very short, and your abilities don't do a lot of damage at rank 1. Also, her cooldowns are very long. Her primary source of damage in the laning phase, and pretty much the whole game, is going to be her E, and Tristana can't trade very well unless she uses that, and by using that, you are committing pretty much your whole set of damage to this trade. Now, the reason Lucian can take advantage of this is because he likes to have short, quick trades and not have these long, extended brawls that happen. That's where you're going to build most of your advantages in lane as Lucian. So this forces the Tristana to make the decision of, is this going to be an all-in fight or a long trade? Do I need to use my long cooldown ability, or do I just lose the trade outright because Lucian's cooldowns are so small that he can expend those more often to have more positive trades happen? Ultimately, the way that you play Tristana in lane and the way that you play Lucian in lane, I found that it definitely favors the Lucian player. The cooldowns on Tristana are just a lot longer, and you can't trade back into the Lucian if you're playing that lane properly. Now, I've played against Lucians as Tristana, and they don't play it the right way, and they don't take advantage of my long cooldowns, and so I can farm out and eventually outscale the Lucian. But you want to shove in the Tristana and force her to farm under tower. It's really hard to farm under tower consistently as Tristana, especially if you're a little bit newer to the champion, and it really delays her power spikes, and that's the main reason you want to pick Lucian into Tristana or any late game champion, is that you really can dominate that laning phase over them and delay their power spikes long enough so you can end that game. I found Lucian does very well into almost any late game AD carry. Vayne, Twitch, Jinx, using the same type of trading patterns, you can gain advantages throughout the lane and cause them to either go back or either kill them outright in lane and use that to snowball your advantage. Now, obviously, if the game does go long enough, that other champion is going to outscale you, and that's what we're trying to avoid. But there's a couple different ways you can build Lucian to try and make that scaling not as bad. Now, the first way that I found, and usually how I build Lucian, is crit Lucian, and I do have another video going over why I think crit Lucian is good right now, but usually you're going to want to get Essence Reaver into Static Shiv or Rapid Fire Cannon, and then into Infinity Edge, and that's going to be your core build for that. It scales well, you also have good damage in the mid game, and you can put out a lot of really decent damage in the late game. Another good build that I've found, this build is a lot more situational than the crit build that I just listed, but it's going lethality, and it's really good into teams that don't have a tank, because lethality is not very good and does not scale very well, but you can really push your mid game advantage if you can start to snowball, build some lethality, and really take over that game if there's no tanks on the other team. And for that build, I do like to go Duskblade into Youmuu's, and that's going to be the core of your lethality items. I'll like to get a Phantom Dancer after that, and then Infinity Edge, and that's really going to put out a lot of damage onto those squishy targets on the other team. You can also build Lucian Blade into Black Cleaver like he has been done before in the earlier part of the season. I don't think it's as good right now. I'll only do it if I'm playing Lucian mid, but you can also take that route, Blade into Black Cleaver, into Phantom Dancer, into Infinity Edge. And so that's it for me, guys. That's all I have to say about this here. If you do try Lucian into any of these late game champions like Tristana or Twitch, go ahead, let me know how it went, because because I really do think this is a good counter, and I don't think it's being exploited very much right now in the meta that we're in. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did like the content and would like more information on the AD carry meta, go ahead and subscribe. I really would appreciate that. But good luck with your upcoming ranked games.